All right, so ready for a deep dive. Today, we're going to get into the ring with a boxer whose story is about a lot more than just one big knockout.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Danny Williams, the Brixton bomber.
Right.
We asked you guys to send in some stuff on him, and we got a lot about his Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Which is actually, it's a good starting point. You got the early wins, the big names, the titles, but...
Definitely. Lays it all out there, but as we know, with any good fighter, there's always more to the story than meets the eye, right?
Yeah, and that's what we do here. So, I mean, just looking at this Wikipedia article, it mentions him training at the famous Lynn AC Gym alongside...
Oh, yeah.
future stars like Henry Akinwande, Derek Angle. This isn't like your average, up-and-coming boxer story.
Right.
This is a guy who is surrounded by talent from the get-go.
Absolutely. And not just surrounded by it, but proving himself in that environment.
Yeah.
I mean, that bronze medal at the 93 European Championships.
Right.
Huge accomplishment. Then he does it again at the Commonwealth Games the following year. I mean, that shows real grit. A drive to compete at the highest level.
Totally. You can almost picture it, right?
Yeah.
This young fighter, hungry to make a name for himself, training alongside future champs.
Yeah.
So with that kind of amateur pedigree, turning pro had to be explosive.
Well, that's where things get interesting.
Okay.
Williams turns pro in 95, starts strong, 15 wins in a row, most by knockout.
Wow.
The boxing world took notice.
Yeah.
He had that raw power, that Brixton bomber energy that just... captivated audiences.
But then you hit a bit of a speed bump in the road, right?
Yeah.
Julius Francis.
1999, Julius Francis. And this wasn't just any loss either.
Right.
This was a decisive points decision against an older, more seasoned fighter.
Wow.
Now, of course, Williams would later avenge this loss in spectacular fashion.
Okay.
But that early stumble, I think it reveals a recurring theme in his career.
Almost like a foreshadowing of these peaks and valleys that would define his journey.
Absolutely. That loss to Francis, it's almost like a microcosm of his entire career. Those flashes of brilliance coupled with these unexpected setbacks.
Right.
And it's a pattern that repeats.
Yeah.
He wins the Commonwealth title, then loses and regains the British and Commonwealth belts multiple times.
It's that constant back and forth that I find so fascinating about him.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, was this inconsistency a question of his fighting style? Or were there other factors at play maybe in his training or even the promotional side of things?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's something boxing analysts have debated for years.
Right.
Was there a vulnerability in his technique that more experienced fighters could exploit? Or was it more about inconsistency in his training? Or even the pressures that came with that explosive fighting style?
Because you look at those early knockouts and you see that raw power.
Yeah.
But was there maybe a trade-off?
Yeah.
Like he was so focused on delivering those big blows that he sometimes left himself open.
It's definitely possible. And that's what makes his story so compelling. It's not a simple narrative of a fighter who just steadily climbed the ranks.
Right.
It's about a guy who is capable of both brilliance and vulnerability. And that, I think, is what made him so exciting to watch. He kept you guessing.
Okay, so let's talk about the fight that put Danny Williams on the map for a lot of people. The Tyson fight.
The one everyone remembers, even if they don't follow boxing closely.
Right. It's 2004.
Yeah.
And Tyson, yeah, sure, he's past his prime.
Yeah.
But it's still Mike Tyson.
Right.
This is, the man was a legend. Intimidation practically oozed from him.
Exactly. And you could feel it in that first round.
Oh, yeah.
Tyson comes out swinging, lands some heavy blows.
Yeah.
And for a moment, it seems like we might see a vintage Tyson performance.
But then something shifted.
Yeah.
Williams weathers the storm. And what I find so incredible is that it wasn't one massive blow that took Tyson down.
Right.
It was methodical, almost like Williams was dissecting a puzzle right there in the ring.
It's true. You see Tyson starting to tire, and
Yeah.
Williams, he's relentless. Yeah.
Keeps the pressure on targeting the body, wearing Tyson down. By the fourth round, it's over. Tyson goes down, and the arena goes silent.
Just like that. It was a seismic shift in the boxing world.
It really was.
Here's Williams, a fighter who'd had his ups and downs,
Right.
and he just toppled a giant.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about what was going through his mind in those moments before the knockout.
Oh, I know it.
Was there a sense of disbelief, or was it pure focus and determination?
And that win, it did more than just elevate Williams' career.
Yeah.
It catapulted him onto the global stage. He went from being a respected British contender to a household name, the man who took down Iron Mike.
And with that kind of win comes a certain level of expectation.
Right, and deservedly so.
Yeah.
It earned him a shot at Vitaly Klitschko
Wow.
for the WBC and the ring titles. Now we're talking about a whole different beast in Klitschko.
Oh, yeah.
He was dominating the heavyweight division, known for his power and precision.
And let's be real, that fight was a huge step up in terms of competition. Absolutely. Klitschko was a master technician, and while Williams lost in the 8th round, there's something to be said for how he handled that defeat.
Okay.
He went toe-to-toe with a prime Klitschko, absorbing those heavy blows, showing incredible heart.
Right.
Even in defeat, he earned the respect of the boxing world.
I remember watching that fight, and you're right. Even though he lost, you couldn't help but admire his toughness, his refusal to back down. It's like, okay, he beat Tyson, lost a world title fight.
Right.
That's a hell of a career arc.
You'd think so. But that's the thing about Danny Williams. He was never one to rest on his laurels. He could have easily ridden the wave of the Tyson win,
Right.
taken easier fights, but he didn't. He went straight back into the thick of it, reclaiming the British title, facing off against a string of tough contenders like Audley Harrison and Matt Skelton.
Wow.
He even fought Derek Chisora later in his career, a real brawl of a fight.
And that's what's so intriguing about this part of his career.
Yeah.
He's fighting these big names, but it's not always clear what his ultimate goal is at this point. Was he still chasing a world title? Or was it more about proving something to himself, testing himself against the best?
It's a question worth exploring. Maybe it was a combination of both the Tyson and Klitschko fights. They changed the game for him. He'd tasted the highest level of competition, and perhaps there was a part of him that was always chasing that dragon again.
And it wasn't just the big names he fought, it's also the way he fought.
Yeah.
You watch those later fights and there's a different kind of intensity. It's like he's fighting with something to prove, even if the world title isn't always on the line.
There's a fire there. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
see it. And it's not just about wins and losses at this point. It's about heart, you know,
Yeah.
about testing your limits.
And through all of this, the knockouts, the comebacks, a pretty profound personal transformation was happening too.
Yeah.
This tough-as-nails boxer found solace and strength in kind of an unexpected place.
His conversion to Islam,
Right.
it's a fascinating layer to his story, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, we see athletes finding strength in religion pretty often, but there's something really really kind of deep about Williams' journey.
It really adds this compelling dimension to his character.
Right.
You have this fighter known for his power and aggression in the ring,
Yeah.
yet finding peace and purpose through faith.
Exactly. He talked about hearing the adhan,
Right.
the Muslim call to prayer, while he was in Turkey.
Yeah.
Described it as like a pivotal moment for him.
Oh, wow.
A spiritual awakening. And this wasn't just, him saying it. This
Yeah.
was a complete life change.
It makes you wonder, did this newfound faith play a role in his boxing?
Yeah.
Did it fuel his resilience, especially in those later fights when he was battling back from setbacks?
It's a good question. We can't say for sure.
Right.
But you can't help but see some parallels.
Yeah.
That discipline of prayer.
Yeah.
The focus on inner strength.
Right.
I mean, those are qualities that translate well to the boxing ring for sure.
For sure.
Huh?
It's like his story transcends the sport itself.
I think so.
It becomes a story about resilience, about self-discovery, about finding your purpose, even when it seems like the odds are stacked against you.
And that's what makes Danny Williams such a compelling figure.
Totally.
He really challenges our preconceived notions of what a boxer should be.
Right.
I mean, he was a fighter, absolutely.
Yeah.
But he was also a man on a journey of self-discovery, a journey that played out both inside and outside the ring.
Even the way his career ends is a testament to that. Multiple retirements, always coming back for one more fight.
Oh, yeah.
It speaks volumes about his character, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. He wasn't content to just fade away. There was always that drive
Yeah.
to test himself, to prove something, even when there wasn't a title or a big payday on the line.
It's that fire that burns within, you know?
Yeah.
That refusal to just let go of the thing you love, even when, logically you should maybe hang up the gloves
Right.
in a way that's more inspiring than any championship belt.
It really is. Danny Williams' story is a good reminder that a fighter's legacy is more than just their win-loss record.
Totally.
It's about the heart they show, the challenges they overcome, and the impact they make on the sport and beyond.
It really makes you think about what defines success.
Right.
Is it the titles and the accolades? Or is it about that relentless pursuit of your passion, even when the journey is filled with ups and downs?
Yeah.
Danny Williams' career.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that sometimes the most compelling stories are the ones that don't fit neatly into a single headline. So next time you see a highlight reel, take a moment to think about what happened before that knockout punch, what sacrifices and battles led to that moment of glory, and more importantly, what happened after. Because that's where you'll often find the real measure of a fighter's heart.